Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle, and we're back to the oldies but goodies. I had a request come in for a video on the Daiwa 7800 series. This is 7850H. It's 70-ish in terms of years of manufacture, and it was made in Japan by the Daiwa Corporation. And we see some of these in various versions of them. Apparently somebody had one of them and wanted to see how to repair it. Now this one is from a parts reel. It's got a broken foot on the reel seat. It could still be fished. You could probably tape it onto the rod where the point is there and go fish it. But for now it's just going to be an example of the reel technology. So I'll show you how to tune it up, clean it up, what the reel is made of, and so on. So to get started, I always, as you know, always use a protective glove and a parts tray for the pieces and parts I take off the reel. And we're going to start disassembling this reel. We'll take the top off first, the spool. Later on, we'll go take the drags out and show you the drag assembly. Put those in the parts basket. Look on the axle shaft. This is a pretty straightforward design for the time. You'll see how the bail can set here, and then when it hits the trip lever, which is that little metal interconnecting piece there, it will throw it back. This seems to be operating fine. If you're doing maintenance on it, just grab some penetrating oil and just spray that down there. We've got some salt buildup in there, so I'm just going to let that sit. Let's go over to the gear side then. To open up the gear side, you need to remove the handle first. This is a right or a left handle. This one was set up for a left crank, but it can be reversed. It's got a big screw, and then it's got a pull through from the handle shaft. If you want to make it a right-hand crank, simply reverse it and put it in that way. When I take the handles off, I like to put the screws right back into the handle for those that have the through screw, just so you don't lose it later. And then we'll go over here and we'll take off the gear side plate. We'll give you a look at what that's about. So this is a single ball bearing reel, and it is it's a monster. It's one of these that will last forever if properly maintained. The design of the reel changed a little bit, right? It's a fashion statement on reels. If you're looking at the Daiwa Silver Series, for example, the 7000C or the like, they will match up internally pretty much, but externally this has got a square case, the other one's got a rounded case, different colors and so on. So here's your look at this. A little bit different than what some of the others are, but a nice one nonetheless. This has a spiral shaft that is turned, that cranks this up and down. It moves this crosswind assembly, and that's the crosswind gear that's going to be pushing everything. So it goes like this. You can see how it intersects here, and then we'll turn it this way so you can see how it moves. If we can get all of this together here. That crosswind gear is mounted into the case. Oh, we're not getting the gear there to show you. But you can see how this is moving down as a result of being turned. And when that turns, that axle shaft is going up and down as such. To remove that axle shaft, you pull the set screw off of that. And in this case, this reel would need to be cleaned up quite a bit if we wanted to put it back into service. We'll just do a little bit of cleaning for now, just because I want to just more or less show you the technology involved here. So this is the screw. It's a long set screw. We'll put that in a bucket. We're going to clean this crosswind gear block off and put that in a bucket as well. That's a nice, it appears to be aluminum gear. Clean off the housing, put that in there. That's a gear shim. And we'll put those three side plate screws in there while we're at it. Okay, once we did that and removed the handle, we should be able to pull the main gear out. Same idea, just clean it up. Check the teeth, all of the teeth. Want to make sure on both sides that the teeth are in good condition, that they're not bent or broken or in any way damaged. If you wanted to clean those teeth, you can clean those teeth with a little wire brush or a toothbrush or anything for that matter. Just something to get inside those little grooves, both the big and the small. And then on this one, if we wanted to get underneath after we pull the shaft out, which we've done here, clean the shaft off. And the ball bearing and the pinion gear sit up top, so let's see if we can find a wrench that can grab that. There we go. We should be able to, oh, we got a lock washer on here. Grab the lock washer off, keyway kind of thing. And we should be able to pull the top off. And this is our bearing, that's all we have. We have a ramp to trip the bail, we have the bearing underneath, and if we wanted to pull that electrical, the pinion gear, we would pull this off and simply unbolt the 3 screws here, take the bearing out, pull that whole assembly off. But no need to do that here. So what we're going to do is just make sure it's clean, just like the other one. We can take that brush again, clean the gear. Again, this is a service. The only time you probably would pull that gear is if there was damage to it. And quite honestly, I don't think there's a replacement for that at this point. Okay, so we're in good shape with that. We want to oil the bearing up top there, so use a real oil for that. In this case, I'm using Penn's oil, but use something that's designed for fishing reels. All right, we'll put that back, put the keyway on, grab the lock washer, grab the nut. And we already, we did the penetrating oil onto the mechanism that drives the valve before, and we're in good condition there. Okay, to reinstall then, you want to take your main gear, put a little bit of lubrication onto that. Both sides, you're going to have the drive that's going into the pinion gear, and you're going to have the drive for the crosswind block, and you also have a little bit goes on the bushing on the back. Take that same idea, go onto your pinion gear, and spread that as well. And you can just reinstall the main gear. And there's a little shim washer that went on that. And we can put in the, we've got a little bit of dryness there. Grab a like a piece of steel wool or something. Just make sure that that's clean. Do that. You can put a little bit of lubrication on that, but you don't need a lot. Just enough for a little sheen. We can go ahead and put that back in then, and excuse me. Drop the crosswind block. So just clean the crosswind block up, and then we can reinstall the crosswind gear. And take pictures along the way as you do this. That way it will enable you to easily do the reconfiguration of this. And now I'm looking for a long screw, so that's why the block works. This works so well. You go to the parts basket and the pieces right there. So we're putting that crosswind block in now. Sometimes you have to rotate that shaft a little bit to make sure that it catches. Sometimes you can use a center. Okay, so then we're ready to reinstall. I've taken my glove off because I need a little bit of dexterity with this now. I'm going to take the main plate, put the gear in, and take the crosswind gear, which has been greased. Set that in properly, make sure it meshes with the teeth on the main gear. Okay, and give it a test, make sure it works properly. Want to set the override out so that you can get it through the hole in the case. Line the override. That's got a little spring on it, so sometimes you just have to work it back to align in the hole. There you go. And then your case is set. You got the, so this is a very nice mid-70s reel. As you can tell, it's got the spiral gear, much like a Penn gear did in terms of the drive, the early spin fishers. And overall, it's a well-built, well-engineered reel. For the time, it was a nice reel. It's a shame that the foot got broken on this one. All right, so I'm just tightening up the side plate screws. Now we're going to put the handle on, and then we'll go up top, and I'll show you the drag system and the spool. All right, so we're going to take that screw that we had in the handle out so that we can reassemble. Again, this can go either way in terms of the orientation from a hand standpoint. Over to the right hand side and drive this one. That's the lower case. So it's a nice solid reel that lasts for a long time. Just simple maintenance. Okay, over to the spool then. The spool is held in by a little, the drags are held in by a little C-clip. They've been around forever. Just hold your finger on them. These clips seem to fly. They are, after all, they are, we just have a single washer on this one. A single Teflon drag washer sits here. Make sure your channel is clean. Bring that down. Teflon washers do not need to be lubricated. Actually, we have two. We have a little bottoming shell, then the washer, then the metal washer, then the clip. So clear the channels, make sure they're clean, rebutton it up, and that's good. So again, there's a problem with this one because the reel seat is broken, but that doesn't mean this reel can't go fishing. You got to get a little bit creative if you don't have enough grab on the pole reel seat there. But it's a nice reel, and you saw some advanced designs inside that are characteristic of an expensive reel, and this one certainly stood the test of time. So with that, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please subscribe. If you want to see more, let me know. If you have comments, if I have a reel around, I'll be happy to try and do the tune-up and show you the insides of it in future episodes. Again, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. Thank you for watching.